Hello and welcome to the Tigre.pup channel. In this video, I will be conducting a review and demo of the Mehron Paradise AQ face and body paint. If you would like to hear my results on this palette, then please keep watching. I purchased this product on Amazon, and as you can see here, it cost me $34.95, and I have Prime, so I gotten free shipping, and it comes in a variety of shades. There's basic, brilliant, nuanced, pastel, and I believe it's tropical. I chose the basic palette, and that's what I'm going to be doing my review on today. So here is the packaging, nice clean packaging with reflective on the front, metallic reflective on the front, and these are the 8 shades you have to choose from, and this is what you can expect when you open up the packaging and actually see the actual case. And you can see the colors on the back, what shades you're going to get, and it tells you what shades are allowed on which area. What I mean is the red, yellow, and orange are not to be used in the eye area, and the green and blue aren't to be used on the lips or in the lip area. Okay, right here I'm just showing you what came in the package. We got instructions, and we got a little brush, a little detail brush here. The instructions tell you to wet your brush and to wet the actual color you're going to use, so that's what we're going to do here. So I have my water ready, and here is my face before we begin without any product on it, and I'm going to start with my colors after this. So I'm going to demonstrate what I use or how I wet my product. I'm going to start with the white, and you can see here I'm just putting my water on my fingers and putting it on the actual color, and wetting my brush, and I shook off the rest, and I'm massaging or emulsifying the brush into the color to get pigment. So I'm starting with the white here, and I don't know if you can see this, but I'm getting a lot of streaking. So this particular foundation brush, I don't think it's a very good idea. It's very flexible and it's bendable, and it's causing brush strokes along my face as I'm applying the color. So what I'm going to do next is go in with a denser foundation brush, and I'm going to stipple the particular color in order to eliminate those brush strokes. So as you can see here, I didn't put any product on the brush just yet because this is my first layer, and I'm going in and stippling the color. It's making it a little bit better, but apparently you have to let the color dry a little bit in order to have it work, in my opinion. But anyway, this is my second coat, and it's a lot better because I've let it dry, and it actually does dry to the touch, surprisingly. But I'm stippling in my second layer, and this is the amount of coverage that I'm getting so far. So yeah, it's a very pigmented color, this particular one. Again, I said that this is water activated, so if you're in an area where you're sweating and whatnot, this will come off, so you should be aware of that. And right here I'm just showing you the difference between my before and after side or whatever. So now I'm going to go in with my yellow because it's the next color on the list, and as you can see, I'm using a flimsy brush, and I'm going to have to swap that out for a different brush because I want to get coverage. So this brush is a little bit thicker than that flimsy foundation brush that I was using. So I'm trying to pack on the color, but I believe that the problem I'm having here is that I had wet the yellow a little bit too much. I would suggest, in my experience, that you go in with 1 drop of water onto the palette or the particular shade that you want to use. See, it's pretty much dry when I touched it, so I was surprised at that. So I'm going in for a third layer with the white, and I'm just trying to see how much coverage I can get from this, and just showing you how I went about doing that. And as you can see, it colored, or yeah, it had colored my skin pretty well. And I'm pretty sure if I went over this with a white powder, setting powder, or eyeshadow, I would have had really good coverage. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're using this particular palette. Okay, right here I'm just showing you the comparison. I think I did 3 layers of white on your left hand side and 1 layer of the yellow on the right hand side. And as you can see, it's pretty patchy and you can still see my complexion shine through. So I'm going to go in with my second coat of yellow with my stippling of my foundation brush, and I'm going to stipple that onto my skin to get as much pigmentation as I can possibly get, because I need the coverage in order to see how much coverage I can get with this particular foundation or palette. As you can see, it doesn't do a very good job of covering my brows or any hairs like that. You probably have to go in with like a brush and push it through or something. But yeah, I mean, you can take a look at the yellow right here. I also like to mention, I believe I made this a little bit too wet. I'm still at this point still trying to figure out how best to use this particular product, but you can see the actual brush stamps that I'm putting in, and once it's dry or it's not as moist, you can get more coverage and then you get a smoother finish. So I think I'm going to go in with a 3rd layer of yellow, because I can still see my complexion coming through. So here's my 3rd layer, and I'm still trying to get the hang of it. The yellow, I'm not too sure I like it too much. It's not very much coverage. I'm pretty sure if you went in with a corresponding shade in like an eyeshadow or powder or something like that, it would come out a lot better. But this is kind of like splotchy, just my opinion. So we're just taking a look and see how this is working out for me. Okay, right here I'm just showing you the comparison. I did 3 layers of color on each side, and the yellow you can pretty much still see through. In the white, it looks a lot better. Right here I'm just going to show you what brushes I suggest you use. This brush is kind of flimsy. It's not very flimsy, but it's pretty flimsy, and it leaves streaks and it doesn't give you much coverage. So I would suggest you use, in both cases, thick, dense brushes, and instead of swiping or swirling the color in, I would suggest you pat it in. Okay, now we're going on to the next color. Right here I'm using the applicator brush to see if I get any difference, but as you can see, it's a lot more coverage. I'm not getting as many brush strokes with the thicker brush, which is why I'm suggesting it. So I would use this particular brush to do detail work, to get into those little crevices, like in between where the nose is, and getting up close to where the eye, or like detail areas. So right now I'm just going with the green. This is the 1st layer, and I'm demonstrating what it would look like with this particular foundation brush. So you can take a look at that right here. Here is the before and the after. I think this particular palette, it requires 2 layers of coverage, because it doesn't completely cover entirely with just one. Right here I'm just using the brown. This is the 1st layer of the brown, and yes, it does kind of blend in. It's probably a little bit darker than my complexion, but it does blend in with my complexion. And I found it a little bit difficult to make a comparison, because I couldn't tell what area I had done. I guess maybe the lights were a little too bright. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just showing you the 1st layer of the brown and how it applies when you do a stamping motion as opposed to a swiping motion. Okay, right here I'm showing you the 1st layer of the green and the 1st layer of the white. As you can see, I don't have complete coverage. I still have splotches, and I'm going in with the green again, this time with a buffing brush, I guess that's what it's called. And as you can see on the 2nd layer, I'm getting a lot more coverage. than I did with the first, and I've noticed that's the case with all of these particular shades. So in my opinion, you'll have to use 2 layers as opposed to 1 when you're working with this particular product. As you can see, I'm stamping in the color, and I'm not getting any brush strokes or anything like that. Or if I am getting any brush strokes or whatever, it's very minimal in comparison to using a flimsy brush. So that's what we're working on right here. Okay, so on the left hand side is the green, that's 2 layers, and on the right hand side it's the brown, and it's only 1 layer. Just a reminder, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Okay, so now I'm going back in with the brown, and this is my second layer. And as I said before, I'm stamping it in as opposed to swiping or buffing or anything. I don't know if you can see this, but it's actually having like oxidization is what they call it. It's like my edges are like really dark compared to the color that actually is in the pan. So I guess that's happens once it's dry. It kind of like it darkens. So I don't know if you can see that, but I'm gonna demonstrate in a second what I'm realizing, and we can take a look at that together. Okay, right here I'm just showing you I have 2 layers of color on each side, and what that coverage you can expect with that particular what I just said. Okay, right here I'm just trying to show you. You can look around the edges. You can see it's a lot darker, almost like a grayish brown. I don't know. So here I am again. This is with the orange. I'm using a stamping motion in order to apply the color. As you can see, I'm getting brush strokes. I think I used a little bit too much water in this particular case. Like I said, it takes some time to get the hang of this particular palette, so you can get the desired result. But yeah, the color, it's see, I'm trying to buff it in, and it didn't do anything really well. So I'm back to stamping the color in. So this is the orange, and this is the first layer. Right here I'm just showing you the before and after. This is the orange in the palette. It's very splotchy, patchy. That's the word, patchy. Right now I'm going in with the blue, and the blue is fantastic. I mean, I really like the blue. I think the problem in this palette is the orange and the yellow. They're really quite bad. But like I said before, if you set it with a corresponding color in the same shade, say for instance like eyeshadow in a blue or whatever color you're using, you get a lot more coverage, and it'll be more opaque, not translucent. So right here I'm just working in the blue, and we're going to take a look at what 1 layer can give you. Okay, right here we have 1 layer on either side, and this is the amount of coverage you can probably expect if you were to do the same at home. Okay, now I'm going in with my second layer of the orange, and I'm using a dense brush again in order to apply the color. I'm getting a lot more coverage, and you can still see my brush stampings. I'm not too fond of the yellow and the orange so far. That's just my personal opinion, but I think I've tried everything I could think of in order to make this work. So this is what I'm seeing once I have used this palette. It almost seems like it's removing some color in some areas, but yeah, that's what I'm showing you here. Okay, right here I'm just showing you 2 layers on your left of the orange, and there's one layer of the blue on the right. Okay, I'm trying to get this color to really work, so I'm going in with a third layer of the orange. And you just see if I can get as much coverage, and as you can see, I still see brush strokes and whatnot. So like I said before, I'm not really a fan of the yellow and orange so far. Despite all of this packing on color, I'm not getting as much coverage as I like. So I'm going in with the second layer of the blue. Much better consistent color here, and it's really giving me a lot of coverage. I barely see any of my complexion coming through, and what remains can be easily set with a corresponding color. So I'm just doing a little detail work right here, going in the little nooks and crannies of my face and whatnot. I was trying to cover my brow. Obviously that didn't work, but I was able to get very close to my eye in the crevice of my my nose right here, and that's the application with the blue here. Okay, right here I'm just showing you have 3 layers of orange and 2 layers of the blue. The orange is looking pretty bad. However, the blue is looking really good. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the red, and wow, the red is really pigmented. So if you ever wanted a red, this would be the palette. And as you can see, I'm already getting like intense coverage here. To be honest with you, when I looked in the mirror, I was a little bit afraid. I was like, oh, what happened to my face? But yeah, the red, I mean, with one layer, and this is the amount of coverage, that red is fantastic. I absolutely love it. Okay, right here I'm just showing you the before and the after. Okay, so up next in the palette is the black, and I'm getting a lot of coverage here too. It's not as good as the red, I must admit, but it's pretty good. It's up there, you know. So I'm stamping in my my black. You can still see my complexion coming through. So I'm just going to work that out, and we're going to get the first layer of the black put down, and we'll see the comparison between the one layer of the black and the one layer of the red. Okay, now we're looking at one layer of red and one layer of black. The red is fantastic, the black not so much, but we're going in with another layer soon. Okay, right here I'm just going in with my second layer of the red. Not that I actually needed it, but yeah, just in case there was anything I missed. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just stamping in my red, and it's looking pretty good to me here. I'm not sure what you're seeing on the monitor, but I'm actually loving the red. It's fantastic. Okay, so just for comparison, there's 2 layers of red on the left and 1 layer of black on the right. Okay, now I'm going in with my second layer of the black, and it's a lot much better coverage, kind of, sort of. I think maybe it was a little bit too damp, but it's working out a little bit better, you know, than it was before. I can still see my complexion peeking through, and I'm sure you could too. Right up there on my forehead. Just trying to work the color through my hair, my brow hair, and it's not really taking too well. I'm thinking maybe I'll use a sponge, maybe a dry sponge, to try to get it through brow hair. I don't know, I'll think of something. But right here I'm just stamping in my second layer of the black, and we're going to see what that does as far as coverage is concerned. Okay, what we're looking at right here is 2 layers of red on the left and 2 layers of black on the right. This has been a fun experiment, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, now on to my recommendations. I recommend you use dense brushes for application. Pat or stamp color into skin and allow time to dry between coatings. I also recommend that you dip your fingertip into a cup of water and add 1 drop of water onto the particular shade you're going to use, and try to emulsify it with the brush. And you kind of like stir it around or whatever, and then apply it, because you get the best consistency for coverage. Okay, in my opinion, I think the best color was the red and the white, and the worst was the yellow and the orange in this particular palette. I would also like to mention that this particular product is water-based, which means you can wash it off with soap and water, and it has skin-friendly ingredients. If you take a look at the link below, you'll see, just read the description. Okay, in my opinion, I am happy with my purchase, and I definitely would recommend this product to a friend or an associate. And I think for $34, I think it's a really good product. Even though the yellow and the orange suck, I think it can be worked with, like I said, with a powder, a corresponding powder in the same tone or color. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.